And now, you are watching WCTV News live at 5.
Welcome to WCTV's Newscast. I'm Brecken Beta.
And I'm Brady Donovan.
This week, the Waynesburg community experienced a water outage that affected students across campus. WCTV's Sarah Clegg gives us a glance into the outage.
Tuesday, February 17th, Waynesburg community found themselves dealing with a water break, leaving the community and Waynesburg University campus without usable water. The Greene County Emergency Management and Department of Emergency Services released a Facebook post as soon as the incident happened with updates and information. The post wrote, quote, "Contractor has hit a large water line that is impacting a large area of Waynesburg. Southwestern PA Water Authority has crews responding to the location. Crews working to close valves and water pressure should return to customers east of West Waynesburg. Repairs will take some time and affect customers in West Waynesburg and West," end quote. Waynesburg University released an alert through their emergency alert system Everbridge reporting on the water break and how it would impact students. The food services on campus were temporarily disrupted until the water was restored late Tuesday evening. The university sent a second Everbridge alert around 9 p.m. on Tuesday night, updating students that the water was restored to campus and the Waynesburg community. However, the water break was still impacting students on campus into Wednesday. Residents on the first floor of Burns Hall were advised to only use the second and third floor bathrooms as the first floor was having problems with the water. The beverage options in the Beehive and the dining hall were limited for students. Chick-fil-A and Starbucks were closed on Wednesday, however, Starbucks opened later in the morning, and bottled water was made available for students to use. For WCTV, I'm Sarah Clegg.
Yesterday, the Waynesburg University community came together for the Suicide Awareness basketball games put together by Team Hope and Alan Miller. WCTV's Wyatt Clatterbaugh gives us a closer look at the importance of the event, what it has become for the community.
On Wednesday, February 18th, Waynesburg's men and women's basketball teams played their final home games of the season. This game also supported suicide awareness. Students, faculty, staff, and players showed their support to the cause. Alan Miller, who is in charge of this event, talked about just how important suicide awareness is and what he hoped students would take.
Well, at first, it meant a lot. When I first lost my son, it meant a lot to me because of the loss. It meant a lot in his memory. It wasn't forgotten. But over the years, the kids actually asked for this game, so now it just means more because the kids want the game. That's what means a lot to me. It just means that they haven't, I talk to the kids all the time about suicide awareness and mental health awareness. The coaches ask me to come in and I talk to them, and when I talk to them, I want them to know probably what they already know, but in case they don't, that they are loved and they matter, and if something were to happen like having my son, that the people around them would be devastated, and I want them to know that. And when they come and when they ask me to have this game, that just means that they've embraced what I'm trying to tell them, and that just means a lot to me.
Woosen has been a big part of the suicide awareness games. Executive producer of Woosen, Seth Adams, shared his thoughts on just how important Woosen has been to this event.
It's a huge deal for us. We make it a priority every single time. We cover every single game that Alan tells us will be a suicide prevention game, and we give it our all every single time. And we wear our merch, and we show our support to Alan every time we can. He does so much for us, not only in IT, but as a wonderful person as well. So it's the least that we can do as Woosen to be able to cover these games.
To learn more about suicide prevention, you can contact Alan Miller or go onto the Team Hope Facebook at Just Know You Matter for more details. For WCTV, I'm Wyatt Clatterbaugh.
Tuesday evening was Mardi Gras, and Waynesburg had a celebration of its own. WCTV's Brady Donovan brings us to the party and the uniqueness of it.
The Waynesburg University Student Activities Board held a Mardi Gras celebration in the Beehive on Tuesday starting at 7:30 p.m. The celebration included events like a cookie decorating competition, a mask decorating competition, and a Kahoot where students had the chance to win prizes. The celebration also included some traditional Mardi Gras-style New Orleans food. The assistant director of the Student Activities Board, Kevin Thacker, gave a few words on the celebration.
So Mardi Gras is a big event. They call it Fat Tuesday, and basically what that is for before Lent, right? eat as much food, get together, celebrate, have fun, have a good time. And because we are at Waynesburg and our religious college, so food stems from, first we have king cake, right? It's more of like a cinnamon type cake. And there's a little baby Jesus in there, and whoever finds it is supposed to have good luck for the rest of the year or the next year.
Waynesburg University student Jacob Harker gave his thoughts about what this event meant to him.
So, sandwiches were great, food's amazing, cake was delicious, whatever icing was on top of it, loved it. Got to make your own cookies, that icing was delicious. And of course, loved the wear, the hats, just a great time before Lent starts.
To find more Student Activities Board sponsored events, students can find flyers around campus or on the toilet paper. For WCTV, I'm Brady Donovan. Today, the Pathways Center held their yearly Future Professionals Day. Students had the opportunity to design their own business card, have a professional headshot taken, and join a virtual Q&A held by seniors. The Pathways Center held a career closet pop-up on the first floor of Stover this morning. This is an opportunity for students to better prepare themselves for their future careers outside of Waynesburg. Coming up for Waynesburg students is a paint and dip at 8 p.m. in the Beehive on February 24th. Wednesday, February 25th, SAB will be hosting a basketball event against the Platinum Street Ballers. Students can sign up to play on the Waynesburg All-Stars team now on MyConnect. The game begins at 8 p.m., doors open at 7:30. And bingo is back in the Beehive at 4 p.m. on Thursday, February 26th. To see all the upcoming events around campus, students can head to their MyConnect pages to find that link.
Coming up, details on the Hamas disarmament.
Plus, an update on the newest additions to the White House when we come back.
Welcome back to WCTV's Newscast. U.S. President Donald Trump's Board of Peace held its inaugural meeting in Washington earlier today, but some key U.S. allies were noticeably absent, along with any Palestinian representation. Among those who did attend, the far-right president of Argentina, Hungary's authoritarian prime minister, and the president of FIFA. The board, which is chaired by Trump, requires a $1 billion fee from each member nation, was originally tasked with overseeing the reconstruction of Gaza, but its purpose has since expanded to tackle conflicts all over the world. Jeremy Diamond has more from Jerusalem.
Certainly today we got a lot more meat on the bones in terms of some of the goals of what needs to happen in Gaza. You know, we got specific numbers of troops, of police forces that are intended to be deployed. We got the names of some of the countries that say that they will be providing troops. We got the amount of money that's going to be committed so far towards the reconstruction of Gaza. But amid all of those additional details that we didn't have before, still remain a big gap here between the goals of all of this and what actually needs to happen on the ground in order for it to become a reality. And that is Hamas's agreement to disarm and Israel accepting whatever that disarmament actually looks like, because it's not like disarmament is a clear and unambiguous term. There are a lot of gradations there in terms of what disarmament might actually look like. What types of weapons would require to be given up? To whom would they have to be given to? And so what you need here that we don't yet have is Hamas's consent to disarm and also Israel agreeing to whatever that definition of disarmament actually is. Why we heard so many officials say this is the only option, this is all that that needs to happen, because the alternative, as everyone in that room very much understands, is that Israel will return to war. The president, though, said he does believe that Hamas will disarm, but if they don't, he said, they will be, quote, very harshly met.
The Commission of Fine Arts voted Thursday to approve President Trump's sweeping White House East Wing renovation plan. The 7-member panel is fully made up of Trump appointees after he replaced the board last year. In an unusual move, they approved not only the concept but also the final design, accelerating the process. During the virtual hearing, the committee's chair noted 99% of the more than 2,000 public comments received by the panel were negative. But that didn't sway any member of the panel. The National Capital Planning Commission will meet in March to vote on whether to approve the plan. Trump wants to begin above-ground construction in April.
Prospective home buyers are getting some much-needed relief. Mortgage rates have dropped to their lowest level in more than 3 years. Home borrowing rates fell again last week, hitting levels not seen since September of 2022. According to Freddie Mac, the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate sits at just over 6%. Experts say dipping below 6% is a key psychological threshold for the housing market. They believe that crossing the line could unleash a pent-up buyer demand boost in supply.
On Wednesday, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg testified in a lawsuit that could affect hundreds of other cases by families who say their children have been harmed or even died because of social media. TikTok and Snapchat were also named in the lawsuit they settled before trial. Reed Bignon reports.
Mark Zuckerberg walked in the front door of the Los Angeles Superior Courthouse Wednesday morning and walked out the back door that afternoon. In the intervening hours, the Meta CEO took the stand in a landmark trial. Zuckerberg testified before a jury for the first time ever about accusations that social media, including Instagram, is harmful to children's mental health. A 20-year-old woman identified only as Kaylee accuses Meta and YouTube of designing addictive features that hooked her as a small child, causing anxiety, depression, and body dysmorphia. Meta denies those allegations and says it's implemented numerous measures to safeguard young users. At the core of Zuckerberg's testimony were questions about what Meta knew about the potential risks to young people and whether it did enough to mitigate them. Before Wednesday's proceedings began, nearly a dozen parents who say their children were harmed gathered and joined hands outside the courthouse. After Zuckerberg's testimony, parents spoke to the press. Some expressed frustration.
I don't have any satisfaction. It's very similar to what happened in Congress 2 years ago when he swore under oath.
But there was also an acknowledgement of the importance of this moment in the landmark trial.
Today was the most important day for us to understand the truth of what happened and what was known.
I believe that there will be change.
I'm Reed Bignon reporting.
That will do it for national news. Coming up next is your business and entertainment, but first we step outside with Seth Adams for a quick look at the weather.
It's been a warm couple of days here in Waynesburg. It's been a pretty strange February, to say the least. It's been an overcast all day today. We've seen some rain, but this weekend we have some more snow coming right here in Waynesburg, Pennsylvania. But you got to stay tuned for the full week's forecast right here on WCTV.
I'm working here. My bad.
Welcome back to the newscast. I'm Paul Sedmeyer with your business and entertainment update. It's been more than 20 years since YouTube came online. And now a museum in London is preserving part of that history. The Victoria and Albert Museum is displaying a reconstruction of an early YouTube webpage from 2006. It features the first video ever shown on the platform. Me at the Zoo is a 19-second clip of the 25-year-old YouTube co-founder Jawed Karim talking about elephants. The museum said it took more than 18 months to rebuild the page. Music superstar Bad Bunny will take on his first leading film role in the historical drama Puerto Rico. The film is described as an epic Caribbean Western inspired by true events surrounding Puerto Rico's origins. Edward Norton, Javier Bardem, and Viggo Mortensen will also star in the movie. A release date for Puerto Rico has not been announced. Bad Bunny has been busy this month. He performed the Super Bowl halftime show, and he made history at the Grammys as the first Spanish-language artist to take home Album of the Year. A feud is brewing in the world of chocolate. Brad Reese is the grandson of H.B. Reese, the man who invented Reese's Cups. He penned a post on the LinkedIn Allergen. The Hershey Company changed the ingredients of the iconic peanut butter treat. Reese said his family's peanut butter cups should be made with nothing but milk chocolate and peanut butter. He went on to accuse Hershey of replacing the chocolate with compound coatings and using flavored creams instead of peanut butter. Hershey responded and confirmed it still uses chocolate and peanut butter cups to make the cups. Hershey did admit it has made adjustments to certain Reese's products to make new shapes and combinations possible. Woody and Buzz Lightyear are back again. Pixar released the first official trailer for Toy Story 5 this morning. 7 years after the last installment, the gang is reuniting as their jobs are challenged by the electronics kids are obsessed with today. Director Andrew Stanton describes the film as an existential reckoning for toys facing the reality of becoming obsolete in the digital age. Tom Hanks and Tim Allen return to lead the voice cast, and the character of Jessie, voiced by Joanne Cusack, is set to be the main character. Toy Story 5 opens in theaters on June 19th. Beginning with the latest from an iconic band and the newest hedgehog to join the Sonic Hedgehog films, here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
U2 pays tribute to Renee Nicole Good and the people of Minneapolis in American Obituary, the first track on the group's new EP, Days of Ash. The 6-track EP is out now in advance of a new album due late this year.
Everything that's new is a bit exotic and fun and attractive.
Kristen Bell is a new addition to the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. Bell is set to voice Amy Rose in Sonic the Hedgehog 4, due in theaters in March of 2027. In the games, Amy Rose is a pink hedgehog with a crush on Sonic.
We did the sauce competition, we went to it, and we moved to New York City.
This was my last one, Mom. I don't want Dad.
I know, but you need a guardian.
I can, if you really need me.
What does really mean?
Right. No, you're right.
Here's your first look at Steve Zahn and his daughter Audrey Zahn in She Dances, about an estranged father and daughter on the road to her final dance competition. Mackenzie Ziegler, Rosemary DeWitt, Sonequa Martin Green, and Ethan Hawke also star. She Dances opens in theaters March 27th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
That will do it for your business and entertainment update. I'm Paul Sembauer. When we return on the newscast, Ethan Spazarski has your sports.
Oh, I didn't see you there. I'm Mia Hinkins, and welcome to Buell Hall, home of Waynesburg University's Department of Communication. If you visit our campus, you'll have the opportunity to attend some comm classes, enjoy lunch with our students, and watch us in action. We hope to see you here soon at Waynesburg University.
To schedule your personal visit, go to waynesburg.edu/admissions/schedule-visit. Come grow with us at Waynesburg University.
Good evening, all. Welcome into this week's Sports Report on WCTV. I'm Ethan Spazarski. Kicking off Waynesburg sports, it was a rough night at the Rudy Marissa Fieldhouse last night as both Yellow Jacket basketball teams hosted at Chatham Cougars. For the men's team, their game was to play spoiler as they were eliminated from playoff contention last week. Chatham started out on the game on a 7-0 run just 90 seconds into the game. However, Waynesburg responded with an 11-0 run to take the lead. But that was the last time Waynesburg held the lead for the entire game. For the remaining 32 minutes of play, Chatham never let go and went home with an 85-69 win. The men's team falls to 7-17 overall this season with just a 3-2 PAC record. The women's game had much higher stakes involved. Win and the chances to be in the PAC playoffs, or lose and miss out on a trip to the PAC tournament. Chatham started out leading 21-15 after the first quarter and a 34-23 lead at half. The Yellow Jackets were shooting 31% from the field compared to Chatham's impressive 47%. This is where the game got interesting, however, in the second half, and more specifically in the fourth quarter, as Waynesburg outscored Chatham in that quarter, including an 11-0 run in the process. However, that was not enough as the Cougars routed the Lady Yellow Jackets 60-51. The women's team is now 12-12 overall on the season and 8-7 in the PAC. With that loss, though, Waynesburg has fallen short and will not be making the dance to the PAC tournament. Both teams prepare to conclude their seasons this Saturday, heading up I-79 to Washington and Jefferson. The women's game will tip off at 1 p.m. with the men's to follow at 3. Another note for Waynesburg sports, Jesse Orban has competed in the PAC Wrestling Championships this past weekend and took home the 174-pound title for the second year in a row. Orban has also been named the tournament's most outstanding wrestler, and Orban now gears up for the NCAA Region 4 competition next Friday and Saturday. If Orban is to place in the top 3 for his weight class, he will move on to the national stage. Looking further into Waynesburg sports, women's wrestling heads to their NCAA Region 3 championship at Frank Spring, Georgia this coming Friday and Saturday. Their matches will start at 5 p.m. on both days. Spring has also sprung, which means it's time for baseball and almost softball. The baseball team started out the season 2-0, beating La Roche on Tuesday, and looks to carry it into the weekend. El Moriah College is traveling to Waynesburg University for a non-conference doubleheader. The first pitch of Game 1 is at 12 p.m., while the second game will start at about 3. For a full list of Waynesburg sports athletic schedule, feel free to head over to waynesburgsports.com/calendar for all the details. WPO basketball playoffs are on a roll, and so are a number of Greene County sports teams. This past Tuesday is when multiple teams won their opening round game. The West Greene Pioneers girl team defeated Clairton 50-21. Jefferson Morgan boys basketball defeated Springdale 49-35. And Waynesburg Central, their girls team, however, did lose to Beaver Falls 68-45. West Greene and Jefferson Morgan tip off in about an hour for their games against Union and Our Lady Sacred Heart. However, the Waynesburg Central girls team will play in their consolation game tomorrow night against Olsh, with the time later to be determined. All the games can be heard from the Greene County Sports website and the NFHS network as well. Pittsburgh sports finds itself a little dormant due to the Olympics continuing to carry on in Milan, Italy. However, that news does not come free of charge. Sidney Crosby was injured during Canada's game against Czechia, and it was a right leg injury that kept Canada's captain sidelined for the remainder of the game. But in a quote after, head coach John Cooper said in the chatter in the locker room between doctors and teammates that this will not be Sidney Crosby's last Olympic game this season. Finally, the Pittsburgh Pirates have officially begun spring training, and with all the players reporting to Bradenton, Florida this past weekend, the Bucs' first home game of the 2026 season will start on Sunday, February 22nd versus the Tampa Bay Rays at 1:05 p.m. That'll wrap up your weekly sports report. I'm Ethan Spazarski, and coming up next is WCTV's very own weatherman, Seth Adams.
Ha! Gotcha!
Fading up to Tyler and Mia in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Mia Hinkins.
And I'm Tyler Aaron, and welcome
to Jacket Sports Weekly.
Welcome back to the studio. Seth Adams here with your weather. We almost hit 60 degrees today, reaching a high of 58 degrees earlier in the day. In this warm stretch in the middle of February, it's been pretty interesting to say the least. Wind overcast today with some rain throughout the day. The rain will hang around until tonight, and the temps will drop into the mid-40s, but still very impressive for February. We'll take a look into tonight's radar, seeing this big stretch here of rain, heavier rain being the dark green, just going all the way east towards the Atlantic and collecting up in New York, where they're going to see some snow and some ice and some mixture there, but just a main, all just coming from Ohio and spreading out east, almost entire covering the state. We're going to see that tonight from about midnight till 4 in the morning, so be expected for some rain showers tonight. And basically the next couple of days, this weekend is, like I said, interesting to say the least. Tomorrow we'll see the sun come out after those morning showers, another extremely warm day with a high of 61. However, around noon, we will see some heavy wind, around 20 mile per hour wind and gusts reaching up to 42 miles per hour. And then this is where we start to see that colder weather come back, because it's going to drop to 33 degrees and get pretty cold throughout the rest of the week. Taking a look into Sunday and Monday, shocker, yeah, it's going to snow again. 3 to 4 inches predicted on Sunday into Monday. We also see some rain and snow, a mixture on Wednesday, but the temperature does get a little bit better. Tuesday we'll see the sun come out, but it will be cold. But a pretty interesting shift from this week, where we've seen some really, really warm weather, and then this weekend a chance of snow. But after this week, we are going to see temperatures sit in the 40s as a high for the majority in the rest of February. Enjoy these next couple of warm days and appreciate it before it's gone. That's all I got. Sending it back to the desk.
Thank you guys for watching from everyone behind the scenes and in front of the desk.
Stay tuned on our WCTV YouTube page and social media platforms for more Waynesburg content.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.